I never thought a joke could redraw the borders of a marriage, but sometimes one careless sentence exposes truths you've been avoiding. I'm Callum Reed, 39, married 8 years, steady job, quiet life. I believed trust wasn't loud or dramatic, it was consistency. That night proved how fragile assumptions are, and how silence can become a decision you don't realize you're making until it's already shaping everything. It changed how I listened, watched, and finally understood what respect meant. When I met Harper Lowell, she was sharp and funny, the kind of woman who filled rooms without trying. I was dependable, grounded, the man who showed up early and stayed late. We fit easily. We built routines, shared dinners, planned futures without panic. I worked logistics for a regional firm. She handled marketing at a tech consultancy. Nothing flashy, just progress. I believed intimacy was attention paid daily. Over time, life layered responsibilities onto us, but I stayed present. I listened, supported, adapted. I never imagined humor could be used as camouflage, or that familiarity could dull empathy instead of sharpening it. Those beliefs felt safe then, untested, comfortable, like furniture you stop noticing until it breaks beneath you. The first time she mentioned Marcus, it sounded harmless. A coworker, British accent, quick wit, always ready with a sarcastic remark during meetings. I smiled, asked polite questions, let it pass. Weeks later his name appeared more often, threaded into stories about deadlines and coffee runs. I noticed how her phone angled away from me, how laughter arrived faster when she texted. I didn't accuse. I didn't interrogate. I told myself adults are allowed friendships. Trust, I believed, meant restraint. Still, a quiet unease settled, the kind you ignore because acknowledging it might demand action. That's how slow damage works. It whispers first, hoping you won't listen, and when you don't, it grows bold enough to joke about crossing lines. It happened over dinner, plates half finished, television murmuring. She laughed and said Marcus teased her about my cooking, then added, smiling, that he joked about kissing her, calling it just office chemistry. She waited for my reaction. I felt heat rise, then something colder. I said nothing. No joke back, no lecture, no visible hurt. Silence filled the space. She shrugged, changed topics. Inside, my mind catalogued the moment. Humor framed disrespect, minimizing it before I could object. By staying quiet, I allowed the framing to stand. That was the first time I chose peace over truth, and paid for it later. I convinced myself maturity meant swallowing discomfort, not naming it even when boundaries were clearly tested there. After that, the jokes continued, always wrapped in plausible deniability. I watched patterns sharpen. Late meetings multiplied. Her energy shifted outward, leaving leftovers for home. When I reached for her, she leaned away, distracted. I still didn't explode. I told myself composure was strength. Men endure, right? But endurance without boundaries is erosion. Each silence became permission. Each laugh I ignored rewrote expectations. She spoke of Marcus freely now, comparing insights, praising his confidence. I smiled thinly, storing facts. I wasn't planning revenge. I was collecting clarity, understanding exactly where I stood. There's a difference between patience and passivity, and I crossed it quietly because confrontation felt risky, while silence felt temporarily safer until safety turned into self-disrespect slowly. The shift became undeniable during a company mixer I attended as her guest. Marcus finally had a face, relaxed posture, easy charm. He greeted me warmly, held eye contact a beat too long. Harper laughed at everything he said, touching his arm casually. When I joined them, conversation stalled. I excused myself, watched from distance. This wasn't paranoia. It was triangulation. Later, in the car, she said I was imagining things, accused me of insecurity. Gaslighting wrapped in concern. I listened, nodded. Silence again. Inside, a boundary hardened. If joking about kissing was acceptable, honesty had already left the room. I realized then that respect doesn't vanish suddenly, it erodes through small allowances. Every unchallenged moment teaches people how to treat you tomorrow, and I had been teaching the wrong lesson repeatedly without protest by choosing calm over courage consistently. A week later, she repeated the joke in front of friends, louder this time. Something shifted. I didn't argue. I waited until we were alone. I said calmly that jokes reveal permission, and I wouldn't share a marriage where flirtation was minimized. She laughed, called me dramatic, said everyone jokes. That laugh ended it. I told her I wouldn't police her behavior, but I would choose my response. I wasn't angry. I was resolved. The conversation was brief, unsatisfying, final in a way arguments never are. Clarity arrived without fireworks, just a firm internal line finally drawn. I understood that silence had spoken for me long enough already, and I was done translating disrespect into tolerance for sake of peace. I didn't storm out. I adjusted. I stopped investing where returns were hypothetical. I focused on myself, my schedule, my boundaries. When she noticed the distance, I didn't explain. I said I was matching energy. She accused me of pulling away. I said nothing. Weeks later, she confessed feelings were confusing, that Marcus understood her. I thanked her for honesty. That night, I packed essentials and left quietly. No shouting. No blame. Just consequence. Sometimes the strongest statement is refusal to compete for respect that should have existed already. Leaving wasn't punishment. It was alignment with values I had ignored. I chose self-respect over explanations that would only be argued away by someone invested in minimizing impact, repairing trust. I never accused her of cheating. I didn't need to. The joke told me enough. Silence taught me my limits. Today, I'm calmer, lighter, unwilling to negotiate basics. Chemistry is never just chemistry when respect is present. And jokes, when dismissed, become permission slips. I won't sign another. That choice cost comfort, but restored something far more valuable to me.